What's up? Your boy, Chris with the Hickory algorithm. Had a lot of people ask me, Chris, what even is the Hickory algorithm? Well, the Hickory algorithm is a podcast, community hub, dedicated to celebrating the stories, culture, and businesses that make Hickory, North Carolina the best. So, in this episode, we're going to welcome Chris Parsons from Pace Atlantic. How you doing today, Chris?
I'm great, man.
That's good to have you, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is awesome. Now, Chris, you're a licensed general contractor in Hickory, North Carolina with Pace Atlantic LLC. What does that even mean?
Yeah. It's a good question because there's a lot of different licenses. There's a lot of people that aren't licensed, and that's not a bad thing. But so the license I have is it's called a building classification. So there's different classifications within the GC license.
Gotcha.
So building means I can build anything from like a hospital to a house or just do major renovation projects. Then there's sub-classifications that are also covered by that building classification. So one of those is docks, which we're getting into, or I can't remember the exact name of the subclass, but it's basically water working, so dredging, major like water projects that you might find like in a port city, which we don't have here, but those types of things. So the GC license basically allows you to do a project. Now they've increased the limit. So if you're unlicensed, you can do a project, I think it's $40,000 now. And then the GC license has three classifications. Basically, I think right now it's 750,000, 1.5 million, and then unlimited. And then that's the full value of the project itself.
So you can work on anything. Does that include like electrical? Does that include plumbing? Like, do all those things included for that?
No,
amount?
so those are different licenses. So most GCs or most companies that have a GC license, they're only licensed to GC, and so they sub out, those trade-specific types of work, right? But we're very unique in that we have all those licenses in our company, because my dad is licensed in electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. So we don't have to sub to licensed subcontractors that like an electrical sub. We do all that ourselves.
Yeah. Dude, that's a lot, man, because I know, whenever I had some problems at my house, man, when I called you over, I mean, what I loved about it is you were like, I can't fix it. But what you did is that you were able to pull from their network of people.
Yeah.
And then from there, you were able to get somebody there the next day.
Yeah.
Like to fix it. And I think that, even though a general contractor is a very vast term that a lot of people like to use, I also appreciated in you that you didn't have the answer, but you knew somebody that did. How much do you value having those good connections with other contractors and other people that you can pull from? And how do you even create one? Do you have to sort of see the work first, or how does that kind of synergy work?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, so most of the time it's very valuable to have a good network of subs, and then in our case, because most people that, like, obviously I'm a younger person. I've been in the construction industry total for less than 10 years, so I don't know everything.
Right.
You're right. So there's a lot of projects that you just need someone more experienced than you. So I actually, it's a friend of my dad. They've worked together for 30 years. He's a licensed GC. My dad knew him before we ever went in business. So we call him if it's something that's like a little bit over my head. Mm-hmm. His name's Ken, so we'll call Ken. Like, hey, Ken, we need your advice. We just want to make sure we don't do the wrong thing. And then for subs, like let's say a roofing sub or like another electrician or another HVAC company, what we kind of do is work off referral. If we're trying someone new, like, we don't just go through the Facebook ad or or Hickory Bubble and say, oh yeah, somebody recommended XYZ company. Let's try them out. We use the referral from another contractor we know. So like Zach, I've asked Zach before for someone. Ken used before, or owners of other businesses that we know, like a drywall specific company in Hickory. It's very well known. We know the owners there, and we say, hey, do you have a sub that you use sometimes that you can share, basically?
Right.
And so we have a drywall guy we got that way. And like in your case, another HVAC company, we don't overly market residential service calls, you know, because we don't have the manpower to be like a 24/7
Right.
company. So we try not to rely on that to keep our business going. So to not do that, you have to have projects. And then sometimes it's hard to pull up a project and then go do a service call. So like in the event of at your house, it's something I can't get there in a way that's going to make you happy.
Right.
But I know someone I trust that I would have do at my house if I didn't do it myself. This is who I would use.
Right.
And so that's kind of how we evaluate subs.
Well, that's interesting, man, because I thought it'd be a little more cannibalistic out there sometimes, you know, and I'm sure it is. But just how you conduct your business and those kind of things was a lot to me when someone is able to say, hey, I don't have the answer or I can't be there, but I can get somebody for you. And I think that's so valuable when it comes to having a reliable service company. Yeah. And, man, I think you guys nailed it. I really do think you guys did a great job.
Yeah.
Well, one question I wanted to ask you
go ahead.
is you see all these people saying, hey, I need help with this. I need help with that. Mm-hmm. And most of the time they just get, you know, Joe Bob down the street. They don't do that for a living. Let's put it that way. The person that comes to somebody's house to fix something, don't do it for a living.
Yeah.
What's it like to be on the other side of that when you get called in and someone is like, hey, I had John Bob fix it, but it's still not working. Yeah. What is that like for someone like you? They've called you in, and how do you put on almost like the kid gloves where you're sort of like, how do you I want to know, just because I'm always curious of how another business is run in certain situations. Yeah. And that's one I've been dying to ask you.
Yeah, that's a really good question, because that's a really bad situation. I'm sure every industry has those types of people where, and it's not always even malicious, where someone just tries to take a project because they want to feed their family.
Right.
But it's just, it's way more than they can handle. It's outside of their expertise. And they do a bad job, or they never finish because they don't really know how to finish, you know. And one of the things we see in the industry is, like you're saying, you know, you see on the bubble, somebody posts, hey, I need an addition. And I don't want to say anything too specific to one company because I don't mean it as an
as
insult,
malicious, right?
Yeah, you have a guy with a lawnmower business card,
right?
No offense to anyone. That's saying, "Oh, I'll do your addition for you."
Right.
I'm like, dude,
you're
if you're cutting grass Monday through Wednesday and then building additions on Thursday and Friday, I don't know. I don't know if that's really going to work out for you, because one of the things and this is a kind of a struggle in the industry, even for us as a growing company, managing projects over, you know, let's say a multi-month project, you know, it can be a big job. That's not the easiest thing to do, and you have to time certain things. It's time subcontractors, whatever you sub out, and you know, one of the most frustrating things in that sense is like say doing a kitchen remodel, and you have cabinets supposed to come X date and countertops supposed to come X date, and if those don't sync or something gets delayed, you know, a project kind of comes to a standstill, and it makes customers really upset. And then on the other end of that, you know, you have this situation where someone takes a job and they can't do it. They don't know what they're doing, and they mess up someone's house. Yeah. So you see that in the comment. It's like, well, we have half a kitchen or half a bathroom. They gutted the bathroom, took the shower out. They started to plumb it in, then they left. And it's like they also did half the floor in the living room, and they've painted the ceilings, but we got to add lights. They never did because they weren't a licensed electrician. And like, wow.
Yeah, what's that?
There's an order to these things, you know? And so you kind of deal with the person. I always apologize on behalf of the industry, because you know, you don't want to get a bad reputation as a contractor. And also there's so many people that, like, you know, you see on the news, like, oh, don't give any money down to the contractor.
Right.
Well, that's great. But also sometimes they use that money to buy materials for your house. And we do that too. But in a situation like this, somebody's already been burned. we try not to take any money down or very little down. Sometimes you might need to buy really expensive material.
Right.
She's like, hey, normally we'd float this, but it's the first time working with each other.
Right.
So
We
they're
need
a little skittish to give money. We're
Right.
a little skittish to take the money because we don't want to be lumped in
with
we
the
don't-
people before.
Yeah, we don't want to be another contractor came and take money and didn't do a job. So you do that, and you just have conversations about, well, if you want to talk to referrals, here's people you can call. And
That's probably the best. That's a genius. Seriously, I never even thought of that. If you can get to that point where they're a little on edge, you're a little on edge, and everyone's sort of, that energy in the room is just, no one's real happy right now.
Yeah.
But being able to pull from, okay, like this is who we worked with. Hey, this is so-and-so we worked with before. This is so-and-so we worked with before. These are the things. I think that what you said is the perfect way to handle that situation, man. Because then it sort of brings everybody, it brings the current down a little bit, right?
Yeah.
It calms everybody down. It's like, look, we're not going to take much from you. We're not going to, dude, that's great. Yeah, so what areas does Pace Atlantic service?
That's a good question,
Yeah.
because we do because we have 4 licenses.
Right.
We do a lot.
That's why I wanted to ask where exactly. I mean, I talk to you. Every time I see you, you're like, I'm going here, I'm going here, I'm going here, and I just wanted to know where it exactly your hot spots.
Yeah.
Like where you definitely want to make sure that you it's home basically.
Yeah. Yeah, if we had like a home base, so to say, for our business, it would be Viewmont.
Yeah.
We do a lot in Viewmont area. We like to work in that area. The Lowe's on 127. We're in good there.
Dude, I thought
so.
we were didn't we see each
Yeah,
other?
I saw 3 of you there. Yeah, one day I was on the phone. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, I was there with my brother. Yes, so we're in there, I guess, in the pro desk. We know the people there. They know us, and we like working in Viewmont. It's local, so we live in Granite Falls.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up in this area, so I'm like a 10-minute drive.
So where did you grow up at? Around here? Well, answer where you wanted
sorry.
to.
Yeah,
No,
it's
my fault.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, so Viewmont's kind of like our home base, this Northwest Hickory area.
Yeah.
So we, in the residential side, we try to stay within 30 to 45-minute drive. If you go over a 45-minute drive on a project that takes 3-4 weeks, people get really burned out driving. You get there, and you're kind of tired when you get there to start the day because you've been riding in the car.
Right.
Or if something goes wrong, and you're like, oh, we needed that tool we left at the shop.
Dude,
Then that's a half a day
Yeah.
trip, and kind of derail. So we found that doing projects outside of that radius, like we've done a couple in Cheryl's Ford,
Yeah.
it's just a little too far. The projects are fine themselves. Like it's just that things just don't go as smoothly when you add that amount of driving time. And also in that part of Catawba County, there's not a lot of stores, so you're 30 minutes from a hardware store.
Yeah. Dollar General, I just ain't getting done.
Yeah, no, you can't. Yeah, batteries. Once you're,
Right.
outside of batteries, you're not getting a lot at Dollar General. So we do that, and then so residential projects is a scope what we do. That's your typical remodels, additions, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do some smaller jobs. We have someone, we a mutual friend we both have.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do a backsplash for. That would be a smaller job for us. A few days. We don't necessarily seek out that type of job
Right.
because you have to keep a lot of those kind of lined up to keep your business going. Whereas we prefer a bigger job, like a full home remodel. Like we've done a number of those.
Mm-hmm.
That's more of our bread and butter on the residential side. The commercial side, my dad had 20-something years experience doing commercial service work and building maintenance and operations. So when we started our business, he was already he took a retirement package from the company he worked for, doing that for 20-something years, contracted back to them, as a sole proprietor, and doing the same job with a little bit bigger territory. And then we started our business. We kept that contract and then added the licensed GC element to it. And so for them, we travel, and that's kind of like I talked to you, and I'm like, let's see, last week I was in Siler City and Mebane.
Yeah, I was
the same day.
I was like, I don't even know where those are, dude.
Yeah. So that's I'm near Raleigh and Asheboro, and we go as far east as kind of the Raleigh area for them, and up into near Virginia line, kind of some small towns people have never heard of unless they live there or grew up there. You you drive for 20 minutes, no service, come
Drive
to a
back.
little town, have service, like, oh wow, we found it.
We
It's
found
like
it.
there's this building here, and we have a few commercial clients, so we kind of routine, and then we
Yeah.
also do some work for property managers around kind of Hickory area on the commercial side, and then we've added some of the projects to that too. Like we've done some remodels and bathrooms and things like that for commercial clients, and now we're starting, because the license allows us to work in docks.
Mhm.
We're starting that element now. We kind of our plan was to soft launch it in the fall of this year, and ramp up into spring and summer of 2025.
Yeah.
And then a hurricane came through, and pretty much took out a lot of people.
Yeah, dude. There's
on
still
the lake.
docks out there. Like,
Yeah.
like even when I'm on like Friends of Lake Hickory,
Yeah,
and I still see like, I know it's way past the hurricane, but you'll just see like a random like, someone's missing a dock. Like, and there'll be multiple people taking pictures like as it goes down. And you're like, it's the same blue dock, dude.
Yeah.
It's going down.
yeah. It's always It's not funny. I mean,
No,
it sucks
I'm
for the
sorry,
person, but
but
it
it's,
is.
yeah.
But it's kind of funny because it's they break free.
I never,
or
yeah.
and kind of what happened in Hickory was that at the dam, all that stuff got wiped out.
Mhm.
So like Copper Penny and then all the houses between there, a lot of their docks got wiped out, and then that's what happened. They all hit the is it Lake Hickory pub in
Mhm.
Marina there,
Yeah.
right at 321, the bridge, and this kind of domino effect. They just start taking each other
Yeah,
out
dude.
because of the force and the weight, and so that was what happens really bad on the lake, and so we ended up saying, oh, okay, no, we better respond now to this, and
Right.
so we picked up a few docks and repairs to that, and we're still gonna do a full on launch and I guess new construction docks. That's the goal.
That was, yeah. We were talking about docks, and I don't live on the lake
Yeah.
at all, so this is all foreign to me. I never lived on the lake. But what does it take? Like, is it sort of like a kitchen remodel when someone wants a dock? Like, if just like, I just want a dock to put my boat in. You're like, well, like, is that sort of conversation sort of the same one you would have if, like, I want my kitchen remodeled? Like that, is it sort of like almost the same kind of depth conversation?
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Well,
with-
it should be,
Right.
Because there's a lot of options and a wide range of.
Are we
cost.
talking jet skis? Are we talking
Yeah.
pontoon boats? What are we talking about?
Yeah,
kind of
yeah. I
thing?
mean, they make lifts that are like $80,000 just for a lift, and then it's
Like
really
to put it
fancy.
into the
yeah,
water,
boat
dude?
lift. Yeah, it's really fancy, and one of our guys is certified to install those. If you want one,
Shut up.
but it's called a shore station. But yeah, FYI, if
A
you want to go home
shore
and look
station.
it up, yeah. So
Contractor talk.
yeah, but if you just want a normal boat lift,
Right.
it's significantly cheaper. But you could get. Do you want wood decking, or do you want, the composite decking? Those costs vary. Railing, we prefer to put in an aluminum railing, but if you want wood railing, that might be a taste. But then you might want it painted, or you might want it
They
stained.
like the taste of splinters, dude. In the summertime.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
would be
I
the
know,
worst.
I
Walking
mean-
out there just holding on like you're about to have time of your life on a boat, and you're just
Yeah.
like, no,
Yeah.
splinter, dude. That would.
Yeah,
that
that
would-
kind of ruin your day.
Yeah,
But,
and
a lot of people
unfortunately-
coming back from the lake there.
Oh, I can't even fathom, dude.
they need that railing to keep them up as they go.
Could
and-
you? That's like
yeah.
just that. Oh, dude, I'd be.
Yeah,
I'm already
yeah.
mad about it, and it's
Yeah,
not
it's-
even a possibility.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, yeah, and then people might want they might want a roof over it.
Yeah.
they might want a double decker like a sun deck up top, and in all that you have restrictions from Duke Power as to how big it can be.
Oh,
And,
really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, and it's about your frontage, like your shore frontage, like how many feet you have, and they determine that, and it also matters when your deed was created. So it can get kind of technical on that side. Like Duke Power kind of has to approve it, what you're gonna do.
That's
Then
crazy.
it's like a permitting process and all that. And there's a company that's all they do is permitting for the lake.
So how long would, if someone wanted to build, here we go, here, the hypothetical of something
Yeah.
that's never going to happen. But like if someone says, man, I just got 2 jet skis. I'm tired of like pulling them out, put them in the garage. What do you even have to put a lift in for something like 2 jet skis?
Jet
Or
skis
would you
people
be-
normally get like it's like a pad.
Yeah.
And you kind of like drive up on.
And you just sort of hook it to it, and you're just sort of done.
Yeah, well, you
I don't
have to
know.
hook
I
it
don't
up.
know,
Yeah.
dude.
No, yeah, it's like a floating pad, and it's got like a little ramp built in, like
Mhm.
little rollers, and so you kind of get the run and go, and you know, you want to time it right because yeah, I mean, there's hilarious.
I'm thinking of my
stories.
3 teenage
Yeah,
boys, and
yeah.
you're saying run and go. I don't know what. There's no way. That's gonna be through my kitchen window, dude. Trying to just.
Yeah. Oh,
light
yeah.
that
I
up.
mean, that happens. Yeah. So yeah, you see people. Yeah, they come in a little too much juice, so they go
Yeah.
they go a little too far, or they miss. You know, and that's also
That's
I miss,
called a
we're going
gen.
down- Yeah, people.
Sounds
Yeah,
like something
watching people
my
try to
wife would
pull
do,
their boat into their slip or get it on their trailer
Yeah.
at the ramp, and if it's a little windy and you're in a pontoon boat, you know, you just give it your best shot. You know?
Now, do you have a boat? Do you?
Yeah, we have a
even-
boat.
do you-
Yeah,
what do
yeah,
you
a
have? as
pontoon.
far- Do you have a pontoon boat?
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
that's where I think I'm leaning towards.
Yeah.
Because my kids are enjoying. Do you guys fish at all? Do you,
Nah,
do you- or
so
just
I'm
sort
not.
of like-
I'm not a big fisherman, but a lot of our guys are. So
I gotcha.
with the pontoon, I don't have a personal watercraft like for myself. We have the pontoon in the
It's a
business.
family boat. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean we can do whatever. But I don't personally fish, but our guys do. So if they get sent to the lake and they didn't know that's where they're gonna end up that day, and they could have brought their rod and they didn't, they get kind of frustrated with us. Yeah.
I mean, you live, you learn, dude. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
So,
You gotta,
so now we try to get everybody heads up. Like, if you want to leave it on the boat, it's fine. You know. But-
Gotcha. So in order to do, you take the pontoon boat to the dock that you're gonna work on.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
what
so
it
it's
is?
stripped,
That's what's
it's stripped.
up,
It's
dude.
stripped off, and so you can put stuff on it. And yeah, you drive it up to the dock. And
Just a barge. Like I.
yeah,
you
it's
know what I-
essentially a floating.
Yeah, all I could
a
think
barge with
about
motor.
is back in Pittsburgh, the 3 rivers, and all you would see is these barges
Yeah.
just going up and down the rivers. So that's sort of what the pace of land. Is
Yeah,
there?
it's
Do you
same
got
process.
Does she have a name though?
No, not yet. That's a good idea. I want to get a flag to like
The Pace
put up.
Atlantic flag.
Yeah, yeah. I want to.
Just the orange and blue,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah,
Just
I want
going
everybody to
through
know.
the seas.
Oh yeah, that's you know, it's like
Just
I
so
haven't
when-
seen these movies in forever, but you know the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and
Yeah.
it's like I think he's like, that is you are like the worst pirate I've ever heard of. And he goes, but you have heard of me.
right, dude, right. Well, at the
yeah.
end of that scene too, there's another guy that goes up to that same dude, and he's like, "That might be the greatest pirate I've ever seen."
Yes, yeah.
So it's all perspective. But
Yeah,
I would
it is.
not love, but I would find it funny that one day if I did see you on Lake Hickory, like just the boat dock going by and seeing the Pace Atlantic
Yes.
flag, just like, oh, dude, that's not good for business, dude.
Yeah, that would not be good for
Yeah,
business.
that's not be good for business, dude.
But maybe easy to identify, like, hey, we should call home Pace.
Right, just like
that's
if
one of
dock problems, just sort of like they have that thing now. When the rodeo comes around,
Yeah.
someone just pays them to drive around. Like they put it on the back of a truck and
I
they
not
just have
seen
it
that.
on the
I
bed.
didn't know we were doing that here. You know, my wife is from Ecuador, and they do that.
Do they do that?
Yeah, for like, political campaigns.
Oh,
They
they just-
actually pay people, and they put like a little trailer with a loudspeaker, and they just drive up and down the road all day, blaring like campaign ads.
Dude, we got to do that. We could be like going up and down on the pontoon. Just, well, you
Yeah.
need a new dock, a new dock. And just
Yeah.
have my son back
It's not
here
a bad
like
idea.
the flag, dude. Just,
Yeah, it's a good idea.
just
It's a good
going
idea.
straight down Lake Hickory.
Going down the main channel is flag
Yeah.
waving.
Yeah, we just park in front of like the sandbar and everything.
Yeah.
You just sit there and just
Do it.
wave the flag, dude. That's great, man.
Yeah. I don't know if I finished answering your question about what else we do. I mentioned residential, commercial, docks. Now we're also going to get into doing some property development
Nice,
and
man.
building. So we've got a piece of property we're going to build on. It's kind of determine if we're going to sell or rent.
Really?
Rent, but probably just sell.
It's a
with
fun
different-
problem to have, though. And it's a
Yeah,
little
yes.
like, no, that's a good problem to
Yeah.
have, dude. That's awesome. Yeah. So I ran a grocery store in Pittsburgh for 20 years, man. And I tell you, finding a good contractor was
Mhm.
like the day-to-day struggle for me.
Yeah.
I mean, even just little things from my walk-in cooler lights being out, burn out somehow. I ain't trying
Yeah,
to call
yeah.
Joe Blow, right? Or I would always have a plumbing problem, and then I would be calling in these plumbers, and then they would do the job, and they wouldn't get
Yeah.
it done. They still send you a bill, dude.
Yeah.
And then it was just every day. Who do you call? We needed a refrigeration guy. We needed these kind of things. But it was always like the light. I wish I could have just called somebody and said, hey, the light needs done.
Yeah.
We need the deli sink needs to be, needs plumb. We need somebody that can do some plumbing and those kind of things. So when you say commercial work, dude, I mean, if anyone's out there listening to this and you're like, I need to fix anything, like you have all those licenses.
Yeah.
Like I instantly think of like the light out in the cooler. It's like how many times does that cook walk in there, or that chef, or that someone walks in there? It's like, we ever gonna get this thing fixed, dude? Like,
yeah, that's actually one of like our main tickets to come through on the commercial side is lighting, and this big client that my dad had worked for that we contract to now. We get sent everywhere to fix lights. Yeah, it's a utility company, and they have these they're called frames, and I forget all their terminology. I should know this.
Like ballast being
it's
out.
Like, so what
man.
they have all these frames that it's like a telecommunications company. So there's all kinds of equipment and stuff, and they get these lights overhead, and they have these ladders you kind of pull. They're kind of fun to play with, but you pull this rope, and then you can slide it around like in a library kind of deal.
Yeah, I don't want to go
and,
on that.
But you got to move the ladder around, and the ballasts are burnt out or bad, or the bulbs are out, and they're too high for the cleaning people to change.
Right.
So we get sent, and that's a very common ticket. And what we end up doing is converting them to LEDs. So we'll bypass the ballast and switch the bulbs to LEDs. And I mean,
you change out all their you change out all the lighting too, if that's something that they want.
We've done that. We've done lighting upgrades. We actually just did a job at a farm here in I guess you could call it Hickory. It's kind of between Hickory and Newton. They had lights in their barn. It's just not enough, so we went through and added lighting in between, and ended up putting some ceiling fans in as well. It was quite a big electrical job, for the farm.
Dude, that's awesome, man. That's great, because that's exactly what I think of when I sit across from you. Is you guys are a reliable company? Like, hey, I need this fixed. Yeah. But it's not until you get it fixed, you get the good service, you get that family atmosphere. I mean, it's you, your brother, and your dad. Like, basically, who's showing up. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's just in 2024. It's like so many places you call, and it's just an unmarked van shows up. And you're like, I thought I called XYZ. And you're like, well, this is Tim from down the street, man. You know what I mean? And you're like,
absolutely, man.
So for you to go in and even just be willing to look at the problem with somebody's walk-in cooler, and then you do good work. Those people, like me, like they know. I was looking for 20 years to find someone that I can call, and we never found them. You know what I mean? We never found them.
Yeah. One of the things we get all the time is, "Oh, I'm so glad I found you guys."
Yeah,
because I can't find anybody that can do this and that, or I called 7 people. You're the only person that called me back.
Yeah,
we hear that all the time.
It's crazy.
And in this industry, it's kind of, I think you kind of have a window of time. You have to, you have to respond pretty much, or they've moved on to somebody else. And especially now, and that's one of the great things about Hickory Bubble is people can post on Hickory Bubble, hey, who can do, fix the light in my kitchen? And there's like 30 companies listed. And we're kind of talking about cannibalism and competition earlier. It's great for people to have a resource like that.
Right.
And obviously there's a bell curve of companies, of who you would call, and there's companies we would not call, and there's companies that you have no problem calling, or that we use as subcontractors too. And on the commercial side, we don't always forget to use this tagline, but one of our phrases is one call for all. Yeah. Because we have all licenses, and if we don't do it day to day, we have a sub that does it. And so you might not know who to call, but we do. And hire someone you trust, and trust who they're going to send to you. And we've done, like in commercial space, the steel doors. We've fixed the steel doors, man. They're not. If you don't work on like commercial doors frequently, it's nowhere. It's not at all the same as as a residential door, or a door you find in your house, and little things like that. I was talking to my cousin yesterday at Christmas about. He started working in refrigeration. He lives in Raleigh area, and I don't know if this is on the news or not. I kind of want to look it up because it sounds hilarious. But a driver, like a tractor trailer driver, ignored GPS he was supposed to go on, like his route out of Publix. Took his own way, hit the power line, which blew the transformer. But in the process, I don't know exactly the full how it all got hit, but hit the line or whatever, blew the transformer. But he had also hit the generator. Did you know this at the grocery store?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a big generator, right?
I can see it as you're talking. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the oil came out, but when he hit the power line or whatever happened, it sparked and burned up, right? And there was a fire. Yeah, right. So my cousin gets called. They go over there. He gets in over there, to put the new generator in. He's like, I'm not an electrician. I have no idea how to wire off this massive. They brought a generator in on a flatbed.
It's like, dude, yeah, that's
massive,
cool story. But like,
yeah. So, yeah, they're talking about they had to drill through the steel door, to run their cables through to even hook this thing up. And I'm like, why don't you just take the door down?
No, dude, drill a hole right through it.
So many ways he does that. No, drill a hole. They drill through the door, cut the back side of the door and folded it up like a tin can, and then put it in, strapped it back down so somebody couldn't crawl through it. I was like,
Jesus.
I don't know, man.
Right, that goes back to what we said before. Like,
he's like, this is a temporary solution. I was like, yeah,
but you got to now have an idea of what you're doing next, man.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a totally different type of job than, doing someone's kitchen remodel.
Right.
But this is the lane that we're in. We can do both. And yeah.
Well, Chris, man, thanks for coming by. I appreciate it coming by, and man, we'll talk off camera a little more about our adventures that we got coming down the line, and we'll share some of those in the Hickory newsletter next week. Chris is gonna have a little interview in there next week that he doesn't know about till right now. So,
okay, let's do it.
Yes. So this is Chris, the Hickory algorithm, signing off. Do something for the love of the game, please. Have a good one.